good morning to all of you. My name's Amanda Jenkins and I shall be doing this presentation today. It's all about a stretcher sling, stretcher scenario, full boarded sling, just to talk about the features and the uses. Any questions you have, as I said, you kindly just put it in the chat. My colleague Rhiannon will then draw them to my attention. But thank you for joining us. I've got my colleague Julie here, part of our technical team as well, and also Judith, who will help with being our model. So just generally, I've been with Silvalea 25 years almost. Julie's 27, so together we've got lots and lots of knowledge. But we also know the slings really well, so when they would be used, in what type of situations. So we can help, certainly in this type of situation, so the stretcher scenario, which we're looking at today. Any queries, any questions, please share them with us. But we're looking at our standard stretcher sling today. It is a full bed, full length sling. It has got boards in, so it's got boards. It will come as standard with a board here and a board to the base and a board to the bottom part. So quite a lot going on there. And it is, then a challenge to get it on and off. So we're going to show you a couple of tips with that. But it usually comes in a mesh, so a polyester mesh, so that actually if it's used to lower into a hydro pool or some sort of bathing situation, then the water will drain as much as possible through the mesh. It has a built-in neck roll. To apply it, you need to undo one side. Once we've got our model in, then we can attach it. But there are places to attach the neck roll, either through a loop or through the shoulder loop there. So that comes as standard. Waist support, it's quite high. I would say it's probably under bust, which is quite good then for helping when you're positioning your patient on the board to know that this actually is quite high, not low at the waist, because the skill is to get that patient on in the right place, which we will show you. But this is removable, so if you don't need it, then you can take it out, but it's got a little channel here to help in that way with positioning there. And being Velcro, close it as much as possible so it doesn't snag on, but keep it open when we're applying it so that it's open when we've got our patient on. Lots of positioning tapes. So on this one, there's four either side. The lower ones, so these three at the bottom end, or the lower ones, are all on a slider, so adjustable slider. So then you can work out the optimum position. So it will take a lot of adjusting, but once you've got that correct positioning for your patient, then you can mark it and set it. The top end, the head support end, has got positioning loops so that we can hinge it if you need to sit up. It's possible to do various positions from the top, or a complete supine pickup. So that's basically the design. It's got a safe working load of 220, so 35 stone. And you would need to take the boards out for laundering. So laundering, we recommend up to 85. And the most important thing is to use a really good quality non-biological washing powder. So we do occasionally see slings, general slings that are being washed in strong biological detergents, and that then tends to bleach out colour. It makes some of our fabrics brittle, so we know immediately what's happened. So please just always encourage carers and the laundry to look at a good quality non-biological. And also no whitening agent. So there's whitening agent in some of the non-bios as well. So no bleach. the labelling will say no bleaching agents, which will then help to lengthen the life of the product. The slings now have really good woven labels on. This one has one on the back. It's woven with all the details on. Safety instructions, safe working load, washing temperatures, the type of hoist that needs to be used. So it's really important that you check the label before each use, that it's legible. Sling must be legible for Lola regulations. Any fading, then you need to withdraw the product from use, because then that will contravene the Lola. The information on that label is really important, so it's, you need to be able to read it. So that's general. Any questions so far, Ree? We good? So Judith's asking about the waist support here. So we've just got a Velcro fastening. If you want something more solid, anything's possible. You just need to talk to us. But as a standard, it will come with the Velcro. So to start with, the challenge is, how do we get this on? And we're going to talk about that. And we're going to use some flat slide sheets. So I'm just going to take this off the bed and just put it to one side so we can just talk about the ease of applying this. Because if you've got someone that you need to get the sling on and they're on the bed and you can't roll them, then we've got techniques with slide sheets. And I apologise if you know this, it's quite a common type of technique, but it's worth just showing you the whole application. And we've got a couple of flat sheets. So they're individual flat sheets. So two separate ones. And these are extra big. So they're very large. But for this type of product, the extra large ones like this are quite beneficial, because they will fill the bed, so that if you've got the sling on and you need to just reposition it, then it's completely covering the sling. So two flat sheets. And what the plan is that we fold these from end to end, so do this end, fold at approximately 10 centimetre folds into the middle. So working together, going into the middle. It's a bit of a fiddle because they're so large. But you can do it, folding in until you meet in the middle. Okay, hopefully that was as clear as I can make it. So we folded into the middle there. So all these folds are there. And then we're going to just turn it over. Just put it to the bottom a minute. Because in a minute, I'm going to insert that under Judith and unravel the folds. So that's the plan. Okay, so we've done that. I'm just going to lower the bed so Judith can jump on. So yeah, we know it's not a real recreation, but it's the easiest for us to demonstrate. So forgive us if it looks very simple, and we know it's not. Okay, Jude, if you won't mind. Right. So with our patient on the bed, we'll just raise it up a bit so that we can get the slide sheets in. So once the slide sheets are in, then we're going to insert the stretcher sling sideways and get it underneath. Are we all right? Any questions? Are we all right, Lee? Okay. Just get this to a nice working height. So as we've got this, we've got the folds underneath now. So they're underneath. So I'm just going to just take the middle and pass it. I'm going to go under Judith's, any hollow, but underneath Judith's back in a hollow, and Judith's going to pull it through we're just going to pull and keep it taut, keep pulling away from each other so that all the ruffles are smoothed out, and just scissor it down a little bit, all of it down to her hips. Okay, and now we're just going to unpeel. So working down together, unpeel each fold, down and out, so that it goes as smooth as we can towards the heels, to encompass the heels. Okay, and then likewise going up, so pulling out and up. We're going to just go under your head, Jude. We'll put the pillow in later. Okay. Okay. So that's the first thing, and as I said, I'm pretty sure you all know that technique, but it's a really good way of getting this particular sling on, particularly with these really big, extra large. We've got measurements if you need them, but certainly the big or bed-sized ones are better. So now the sling. Now I would say, because it's quite challenging, you could probably end up with 2 or 3 carers. It's quite hard to do it on your own. It'll be very difficult on your own. I've only got Julie, so we'll try and manage, because it is cumbersome. But what we need to do is undo the neck roll. We'll take it out. I'm just going to put it in a minute. You can hold that there. I'm just going to show you sideways. So start with undo the waist support, undo the neck roll, and you may need to open up the footboard a bit, so that opens that out as much as you can. Got it? Yeah. So we've got it all open because, thank you, I'm going to now feed it through between the layers of the flat sheets. So hopefully we're okay so far. We all right? So what the plan is to try and get these tapes through at levels, so that Julie can then grab the tapes and then ease the board through. So let's try and get those through. Okay. So we've got the foot one. Excuse my back. That can go around there. Hopefully we'll make it as clear as we can. There's a hip one, a lower hip and an upper hip. So that can go through, again, behind the knees. So finding the gap there. And then the upper one, that can go around the waist. Okay. And then the head support one. And that can go behind the nape. Or, there you go, you got it? Yeah. As you can see, it's a bit easier with another carer, but we haven't got that luxury this morning. So then, Julie's got the tapes. We just ease it through, and I'm going to just hold on to this top slide sheet. Don't want Julie to go with it, but we want to just ease through and start pulling the board through. So we've got the pillow there, and just ease. I'll hold the top bit, we don't lose Jude. So the slide sheets are essential. Okay. Yeah. So just slowly and gradually, and just making sure we're getting into the right position. If we're not in the right position, use the slide sheet then to just manoeuvre so that we can check. Just open that up there. Okay, how are we doing? I'll pull that a bit more. And we can check, because as I said, the waistband, or it's just under the bust or chest here. So if we know the here, it's Judith's waist, we're just going to shimmy her down a little bit, because I think she's a bit high. So I'm using a slide sheet. And you just pull slightly, just together. That's it. Ideally, balance the feet, the legs, either side to get them in a really good, stable position on either side of that footboard there. A little bit more. Yeah. Just slightly. That's it. And then we need to check this waist that this is better. And then we've got to do this symmetrical. It's really important that we've got them symmetrical and balanced within the sling. Otherwise, when we hoist, they might tilt a little bit. How are we doing? Any questions? You're still with me, that's good. Right, let's just see. Are we in the middle? How are we doing? Got this. We're a bit. Yeah. We lift up the side. Yeah, I think we might come over this side a little bit. Just a little bit. So what I do, or what I have done, is just attach it to the hoist now and just take up the slack slowly. Check Judith is symmetrical before we take this sheet out. So just to double check, we don't want her being in sort of asymmetrical and disproportionate within the sling and then have to shear her on the sling. So if you've got the slide sheet in still, it's easier. Safe working load, 220, 35 stone. So we make all different sizes, but they all have the same safe working load of 220. This is a size medium. Often we'll look at measuring, so I've got some information to show you, but it's really, Judith is not tall, but this is a medium size, and it's quite a good size for Judith. She's totally contained within it. And one of the other factors in when measuring is, to make sure you've got the head fully, and it's actually a full length measurement, so it's not so difficult, just the height of the person, full height, and then circumference here. But if you have anyone that's got overextended feet, then it may be that you need to think about that so that their feet are supported within and you're not short within that length. So just a little point to remember. I'm going to bring in, and we're using this 2-point hoist, which people often think I've got to get a specific stretcher type hoist or a 4-point or a 6-point. And yes, they're all really good, but actually it will work on a 2-point really well. It will work on a mobile as long as you've got enough height and enough access to get to the ground if someone's on the floor. So, it is quite versatile in the hoist because we've got these adjustable tapes. So you've got lots of adjustability because of those tapes. With an overhead like this, the key is to get the spreader bar just about hip and then start applying. So start applying the tapes. If it's too far up, you're going to have to stretch and it's not so good, but hip level, and then start applying. So this particular hoist has got this little feature of this clip, a shore clip, so we can have to lift the clip up and then it'll then drop down to engage the tape there. But 4 tapes, and then the head support we'll go on the blue there, the head support's colour coded there. And then just, as I said, just take up the slack and we'll double check. Might flip the bed a little bit. So we're going to try and achieve as flat a supine position as possible. In a scenario where you've got to keep someone completely flat, maybe they've had spinal surgery or hip surgery, things like that, so to keep as flat as we can. The issue sometimes is the board is hinged, so just ensure that we've got the board flat to begin with. So we'll show you how to take them out shortly, but they need to be flat. So just check how we're doing. Pretty good? Okay, so Judith is quite central there. I'm just going to take, we want to just take this slide sheet out so we can see it a little bit better. We'll just move that a moment. And with any slide sheet, just take it out as you would peel it out from the sides, up or down, whichever is the preference. So peel it out, minding the head. I'm just going to get rid of that so it's not in the way. And now we can secure this. Just there you go. The chest band there, and introduce the neck roll. So behind the neck. Or a cushion or a pillow, whatever's preference. So that this neck roll is just secured with a loop there, either through the loop on the tape or through the side one there. So leave the underneath slide sheet in for a moment in case we've got to manoeuvre it underneath, but yeah, and then secure foot tapes. So they're on a little slider there to close up the footboard. There we go. So that's nice secure. So let's start. Again, we'll attach all the tapes, starting with the foot, 2 hips and a head. We good?
Mm-hmm. We're on.
And again, just as we take up the slack, before we go too far, just double check everything's attached. Keep checking. Okay, and then we can take out. Okay, Jude? So we can see here the position we've got. Hopefully that's clear. Let's have a look. So we've got a pretty good situation like that. Can you use the sling in a swimming pool? Absolutely. So, you know, it's a polyester mesh. It's a robust fabric. Treat it like a swimming costume. Wash it afterwards. Certainly, if it's not washed regularly, there may be some deterioration, fading in colour, but certainly it's suitable. We have lots of standard slings made in this fabric, which is used for hydro, so absolutely. So that's the standard, or the prone position. Have we got any questions? How are we doing? Because of the hinging and the different types of loop configurations, you can sit this up. You certainly can have a different pickup. If we just shorten the head support section, we can sit Judith up to it. So it is hinged. Lots of options for positioning. So if you can, you're right, do you need to go down a bit? If you need to sit someone up slightly, slight angle, full seated, then there's lots of variations with this. It might just slightly sit you up. So just slightly, but the tighter we go, the more we can adjust it. So we can see that. But it will work very well without the boards. So it might, we're going to show you now how to take the boards out and how it looks without the boards. Because often people think they've got to have the boards, but they can be very stiff, too firm. And without the boards in, the fabric will naturally find the contours of the body. So it might be that it's preference to use it that way. If we just unhook it, and I'm just going to lower the bed because I want to show you, Jude will hop off, how to take the boards out, because they are enclosed within the panels. Right, Jude? Okay. So we've got, as we said earlier, let's just take this up a little bit, 3 boards, the foot, the lower base and the top section, and all of those can be taken out. It probably is best to keep the footboard in, because even if you're taking these out, it just keeps the bottom end flat and stops it completely wrapping around. So we'll leave that one in. So in the top or the leg end, there's a really solid Velcro tab there. And then this board here, leave it out. Yeah, it slides out. So you can see it's a solid board, and it could be a little bit too firm. Once you take it out though, it's very difficult to put it in when you've got a client on top. So you'd have to decide which is the preference. So we'll just take that out. And then the top section, so we have been asked in the past if this can be made in a fabric that can be left in place. And yes, we can do it in our spacer fabric, the 3-dimensional spacer that we make in situ slings in. So you could, if you need to leave it underneath, then have it made in that fabric. It's very smooth, very smooth. There's no handle, so you may want it without that waist support, so there's no extra stitching. And once it's on, it will stay on. But then you couldn't then get the boards in and out. So it's quite uncomfortable if the boards are in to be left in place. So you have to weigh up what would be the best option there. Right, so we've taken the boards out, and for ease and quickness, because I'm mindful of the time, Jude can pop back on. Yeah, go right down because she's tiny. So we just lower the bed a lot.
We'll make you jump.
Thank you.
So again, if you can get into position. And I'll just raise this up. So again, judging by the position, use this little chest strap here. And I would tend to suggest that if you're doing this, is to actually insert a pillow so that it helps it to not fold right round. I'm going to take this neck roll off and just put a pillow in, Jude. Otherwise this will really wrap around in this situation, so that's one thing I would suggest. Okay. Let's start again by attaching. You may need to alter the tapes. Each situation will be different, but the sliders there will help with the positioning. If you need to lift the hips, lower the hips, shorten them, then they're very easy to adjust. I think we're going to go on a short, should we go on the green? Let's go on the green. And I haven't altered anything actually, so we'll see what we get. Okay, we'll just see what we get. Right, again, just take out the slack. You okay, Jude?
Yeah.
Just make sure we've got. Yeah. You happy?
Yeah, that's very good.
She likes this. She feels this is more comfortable because you can. I'll lower the bed a little bit so we can see it's actually hugging the natural curvatures of the body this time, rather than having the board there. So in many ways, it can be more comfortable. So you can see the benefit of having that little pillow in there to keep that open, and how it is supporting Judith. If we want to shorten the tapes a bit more, we can sit her up. We might need to lengthen them. It needs to be played around with depending on the individual situation. But hopefully it's giving you a little bit of an insight, a few tips. We do have a really good website with lots of information on. Do you want to take? And I'll just talk through the website with Ree. Lots of helpful information on the website for you. Images. Interestingly, this image here shows it on a 4-point hoist. But like I said, it worked very well on a 2-point. So don't think you've got to have a specific style like that. But the photographs there are helpful. Underneath the photographs, there's lots of helpful information. The data sheet shows the measurements, which are helpful for sizing, where to measure, and the standard sizes there. Of course, we can tailor make the product if needed, if it's not long enough or you need some extra width. So that's perfectly possible there. And the size shape guide, again, that'll give you a little bit close up of the sling, the features on it, the tapes, and the measurements. And then there's instructions there. So I hope it's been helpful. Thank you. Any other final questions do we have? If you think of anything later, please email the customer services email address and we will get back to you. But thank you. Thank you very much for joining us. We do have lots of other sessions. Please look at the prospectus online, and we very much like to welcome you back. Please thank you to Judith and Julie and to Rhiannon, and I look forward to seeing you again in the future.